Hello, this is consulting room 17 at the University Hospital of Derby and Burton, part of DHU Healthcare. And this is A&E, where I spent the whole of Monday night. And this is who's working. Harry Potter is in room 1. I did write myself down as Albus Dumbledore in room 17, but my name, well, his name remained on there for 3 days, but there's somebody's taken it off now. Anyway, only 28 people now, just an hour and 11 minutes, unlike Monday evening. 11 hours, 118 people. Good luck. Right, okay, so patient information. Do you want wound care, upper limb leaflets, body leaflets? Driving after injury. Scan that. Right. Okay, let's look around the hospital. This is the way through to X-ray and blood tests, which is a popular place to visit when you've been in accident emergency. And this is what Derbyshire used to look like in the good old days before. Actually, no, it's not Derbyshire because it's by the sea. I think this might be it's Loch Ness. Brilliant. And this is Newquay, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's Newquay. And this is, I don't know where this is. This is, pirate ships. Dartmoor, lovely. Oh, I might just take a photo of that. That was rather nice. And click. Right, perhaps several drugs were involved in the production of these paintings. Anyway, would you like to have a look round Derby University Hospital? I mean, this is what the staff get up to. Q of R is 1 over omega. Sigma of J brackets 2J plus 1 of E is theta R J into J plus 1 over T. Means E2 is 1 over 3 mv squared. Doggy bone equals that. I'm not entirely sure that equation stands up to scientific scrutiny. Anyway, remember, face covering must be worn. If anybody's not wearing a face covering, they're being very naughty and breaking the rules. Why am I in Derby Hospital? Well, it's a good question. Not that you asked. Yeah, why indeed? Well, I had a farm in Africa. That's another story. I did used to live in Africa, South Africa. My son was born there. By the way, he's just qualified as a doctor. Doctor who? Dr. Borchard. That's who. From Leicester University. He doesn't like me talking about it, so I'll leave it at that. But he's now working for a certain hospital in a position, I can't say what, and I can't say where, and I can't say how many days he worked at that undisclosed hospital until he went on strike because junior doctors are being paid. They're being paid £14 an hour. Same as junior barristers. I mean, it's pretty standard. Somebody who's untrained, pay them £14 an hour to spend all day, all night saving lives. So they might be untrained, but he is actually a qualified doctor. That's rather nice. Anyway, this country, and the reason why I consider home to be Belgrade these days, or Toronto, haven't decided which. Celebrate. This is an exhibition responding to the themes of celebration in its many forms, inspired by the NHS turning 75. 25 years of Derby and Burton Hospital's charity and Air Art's 15th birthday. Oh, Andrew Macara. I know him. Go to macara.com. So I bought one of his paintings. In fact, the only painting worth over £1,000 that I've ever invested in looked a bit like this. And I loved it.
place will fall apart or anything.
And when I got divorced from my son's mother, whose name I won't mention, this painting, which will now be worth thousands, mysteriously disappeared. She doesn't know where it's gone. Maybe I should email Andrew at macari.com to find out if it ever turned up, because I've got a photograph of it. Yeah. Beach scene reminded me of childhoods in Bergen, in Holland, Netherlands, where we used to go on holiday. Thank you, by the way, to our NHS workers. They kept the country growing, kept us safe, looked after our loved ones during the pandemic, and as you can see, a lot of people are very, very thankful. This is a truly amazing hospital, and Air Arts is something that you see on a regular basis. What is Air Arts? Air Arts is the arts charity, there you go, for the University Hospitals of Derby and Burton, and offer a wide range of artistic and creative activities for patients, staff and visitors across 5 sites, including visual arts, sculpture and that. Oh, that's quite a nice sound. Oh, no, maybe not. Nice. Very nicely tuned. Very good. Right. Now, this is what Derby used to look like. This was Cockpit Hill back in the olden days, as they say. Knocked the whole thing down in 1970 to build the Eagle Centre. So, what do you reckon? Do you think the Eagle Centre is nicer than that? Where they advertise pioneer matches, Offiler's Arm ales, and Un Vent de Folie. And that looks a bit like the Black Country Museum. If you've seen the film Stan and Ollie, where Stan and Ollie go to the pub, it looks like that in the Black Country Museum in Dudley. Right, this is Amen Alley and Full Street Corner in 1882. I do hope that building's still there. I can't remember if the Luftwaffe redeveloped Derby. They probably did. Okay, where are we? So many choices. We've got the advice and support services, ambulance liaison, clinical measurement, clinical neurophysiology. We've got the King's Treatment Centre. It's where the King gets treated. If he's in the Midlands, you can go to rehabilitation. Then you can go to the King's Treatment Centre. Let's have a look. It's down here. By the way, we have people from many, many different nations here. We've got Afghans, we've got Albanians, Algerians, Australians, Austrians, Bahrainians, Bangladeshians, what do you call people from Barbados? Barbadosunians. Here are the 5 hospitals. The Royal Derby, the Queen's Burton, the Samuel Johnson Lichfield, the Robert Peel Tamworth, and the Florence Nightingale. Of course, I started, well, not of course, it depends if you heard. I spent 3 hours in the Florence Nightingale Hospital on Monday. Took her for a drink on Tuesday. I was in Ward 307 by Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, and I'll chill on Saturday. I've been for blood tests many times. I've been for CT scans, for X-rays, for more X-rays. I went to see a sonographer who looked to see what was in my
It's obviously destroyed it. I mean, it's now
mastoid pituitary salival gland area. The King's Treatment Centre. I wonder if he's here at the moment. But does the Queen Consort? Don't even say. Right. Care, listen, respect, understand with dignity. Those are the 5 pillars of. Right. So it's the Royal Derby Hospital because first of all the Queen opened it in 2010, just before we had a change of government. That went well, didn't it? Now that's Queen Street looking towards St Elkman's Church in 1880, where they advertised Nottingham Castle. What does good stabling mean? Oh, goods tabling? Good stabling, yes. Good stabling to your J.H. Frost and shoeing and General Smith. That was 1880. I wonder what it's like now. Okay. Hello. Right. This is the marketplace. Looks a bit like Nottingham. I'm not surprised because it's not far from Nottingham here in Derby. Probably built by the same architect in the 13th century. This was around 1924. I'd love to have been there in 1924. If you want to see what someone like that is these days, go to the flea market, der Flohmarkt in Vienna. Right, this is Tennant Street, the Moorledge around 1900. If you want to see that, if you go to the Black Country Museum again, where a lot of things that were here have been repurposed and rebuilt, semi-rebuilt, in the huge site that is the Black Country Museum. It's constantly developing. It's worth visiting. It's not so much the Black Country as the Black Country Museum from Dudley. Right, the LNER, the Liverpool North Eastern Railway, I think. This was Derby Station back in its heyday. 1878, the Friargate Bridge opened along with the station. Okay, now orthopaedic outpatients. Ward 101. Always looks a bit scary, that one. Now that will give you access through to blue emergency care. They're such a big hospital, it's got 4 A&E departments. It's also got doors that automatically open themselves. And out here, you'll find it's often quicker to get to other departments from here. And he's not going to give me a ticket, mainly because I haven't even parked here. Yeah, I'm going to go this way. Have you noticed he's wearing a bulletproof high-vis jacket? The UHDB parking officer. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It is okay. By the way, how are we doing? Well, scan the code and you can tell them. Have PALS, patient and liaison something. Support, advice, friendly, pride, complaints. None of those here because it's brilliant. Except the parking. They listen, experiences, service, feedback, so empathy, bereavement. No thanks. Is it safe, confidential, care, help, guidance? That is quite a good decision tree. I mean, it is literally a decision. Well, it's not a tree, but it's. Five reasons to take the stairs. Well, you only need one. It's better. Right. Oof. Ow. Oof. Oof. Ow. Ooh. Ow. Ooh. Ow. One reason not to take the scare. Ow. Is. Ow. Oof. Right. La 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 la. Oof. Ow. Oof. Oink. Ow. Ah, nearly there. Ow. No pain, no gain. Oh. Ow. Oof. And I'm done. Right, this is the 3rd floor. Actually, it's the 2nd floor because the ground floor is the 1st floor. And of course, in the good old US of A, the ground floor is G, and the 1st floor is upstairs. No, the ground floor is 1 in the USA, upstairs is 2, and so on. In the UK, why am I telling all this? Ground floor is G, upstairs is 1, and the 2nd floor is 2, and so on. And in France, ground floor is G, the middle floor is the mezzanine, that's M, and then, yeah. Anyway, right. Let's have a look here. So this is the extension. There have been hospitals on this site for a very, very long time. How do I know that? Because I've been here for a very, very long time. Oh, it's long enough to get a degree in nursing. Not quite. but it feels that long. It's tempting. My father's a retired GP and paediatrician. My son's a doctor. My cousins, all three of them are doctors. One's an anesthesiologist in Salzburg, and others, I think, paediatrics. In Australia, another's a surgeon at the Royal Free. He's not just a consultant, he trains the consultants, and he says doing a medical degree is the easy bit. It was what comes afterwards that's the real challenge. Yeah, such as NHS life. Second highest suicide rate of any profession, right. But apart from that, it's great. Okay, so this is where I am. And that is what it looked like back in 1994. This hospital was reopened by the Queen and Prince Philip, and it looks a bit like that in 2010. The Queen and Prince Philip. Of course, before they built it, before any of this happened, 1975, it looked like that. 1974, it looked like this, a bit different from now. This view is taken from the back of the site, and you can see expansion of the site that's begun with the building of the General Theatre's pathology lab. 75 is the year Harold Wilson became Prime Minister. Margaret Thatcher, of course, was the leader of the opposition. I wonder what happened to her. Well, 75, it looks about like this. And apparently Derby County won the Division 1 championship for the second time. Didn't know that. And the Eagle Centre shopping arcade was completed at a cost of £5 million. Millions of pounds to build a shopping centre. Moorway swimming pool, meanwhile, had just opened, and an indoor sports club. So back in 1949, well, NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organisation, was formed to counterbalance the growth of Russian armed forces, and the Lake District became one of the original national parks. Of course, NATO is now trying to start World War III by messing about with Ukraine, and of course it's a complete coincidence that Ukraine and Congo are the probably the two most important places in the world for natural resources such as rare earth metals. It's funny how they can't be bothered to get involved with Dark Thor and, you know, all those shithole countries, as Donald Trump calls them, and sort them out. No, they want to go to Iraq, which coincidentally is sitting on top of trillions of dollars worth of oil. By the way, this is 1937. That's what it used to look like. It's a bit different now. At the time, Britain introduced 999 as the contact number for the emergency services, and the BBC made its first outside broadcast. And Neville Chamberlain became Prime Minister. And he came back from Germany with a piece of paper and said, not quite going according to plan. And of course, back in 1932, that is what the hospital looked like back then. Rather different from what it looks like now. It had been opened on the 12th of November 1929, designed by T.H. Thorpe. He's died now. It cost £150,000. And remember, the open space at the lake at the back of the building, look at that. Look how many cars there are on the road. About 10. All that space, all those fields. That chimney is seen throughout the decades. Is it still there? I don't know. At the time, Britain was in a state of depression. Like now, where everything's great. The Royal Navy mutinied and unemployment was high. The Empire State Building was completed at a cost of £40 million. Millions in those days to build skyscrapers. Right, okay. Now this is the main hospital. I am somewhere. Yeah, oh, there's the King's Treatment Centre. It's extensive. Remember, you make the difference with hospital charities such as the Derby and Burton. Visit dbhc.org.uk. DBHC. And remember, we all need to prevent the spread of infection. This is what it looks like now. A bit different from 1917. Here's another view of it being built in around 2006. Oh, chimney's still there. Yep, so they did keep it. Right. this is, again, I mean, they just demolished most of it and then rebuilt it. And, I mean, they remain. But, yeah. Yeah, back to 1946 at the time, and Euron Bevan introduced the National Health Service Bill. He still didn't have the NHS in 1946, but he introduced the bill proposing to nationalise the hospitals and surgeries and weekly tax contributions to make it happen, to make facilities available to everybody who needed medical attention. Derby County beat Charlton Athletic 4-1, and they won the FA Cup. So the nurses' home was the last wing built at the time, giving it its current shape. And the Conister House, now Playaway Nursery, was constructed on the grounds. And you've got the prefab buildings. Yeah. Right, oh, there we go. How are we doing? I think you're doing great. Value your feedback. Go to uhdb.nhs.uk/your feedback. Right, remember, wash and sanitize your hands as often as you can. Okay, rehabilitation. Good. Right. Well, it's nearly the end of the video. And I hope you've enjoyed watching it. And if you haven't, why are you still watching? I mean, seriously. I mean, just stop. Stop watching now. 1992. Amazing. Amazing. Right. It's time to return to the main part of the hospital after showing in 1994. Have I showed you that yet? Probably. And a glimpse of 1997. Oh, quite a few things happened in 97. I mean, Diana, Princess of Wales, went to Paris, to the Ritz, for dinner with Dodi Al-Fayed, and he unfortunately died in the car crash that evening. The Queen opened the new children's hospital, and she returned, of course, in 2010, as I mentioned earlier, with her husband, Prince Philip. It's a shame he couldn't become King Philip. I mean, if Camilla can be Queen, then I'm wasting my time, aren't I? Speculating. It's not fair. I mean, we've got primogeniture. Now we've changed the rules so that if George has a daughter and then a son, that daughter will become Queen. But will her husband be king? Don't know. I'll tell you in 100 years' time. No, 80 years' time. When's King William due to die? King William V. I mean, he was born 1982. His clogs will probably get popped in about 2085. Of course, by then I'll be 115, so I don't know if I'll be in a fit state to make silly videos like this. But suffice it to say, I think the monarchy is in good hands. And Camilla's not as much of an old bag as you think she is. No, she actually cares about no. Oh, is that lunch? Incidentally, if you want some Christmas cards that are really good value and quite nice, and if you want to support the University Hospitals of Derby and Burton Trust, then why not pop to the charity shop at this hospital? I know I did, and I don't regret it. They're brilliant. In fact, I got 3 sets. So that's Christmas sorted out, and it's only mid-September. Okay, right. Where am I going next? Do you know where you're going to? Anyway, I am getting better, and one day I'll fly away to Los Angeles, where in April I'll be giving a presentation, 2 presentations, one on functional families. Is there such a thing as a functional family? I mean, I've never met one. And what we can learn from the British royal family in terms of how they've had great success in keeping their family together, and how things have perpetuated through the generations to remain the incredibly strong family they are today. Or have they? And the other presentation is going to be on artificial intelligence and family law. Watch this space. And I think those videos are going to be made available online. So, thanks for watching, and goodbye. And I'm going to go to the works of Millie Moth.